Please click subscribe in the top right corner. It won't interrupt this video, and maybe one day I can be king. Today's video, I'm going to show you how to grow your hair out shiny and healthy, even if you have color in it. So a few months ago when I started going blonde, I just thought I have to cut off my ends and I have to start fresh and clean, healthy hair in order to go blonde. And although that is true, because blonde hair does not strive in unhealthy, dry, damaged ends kind of state, so it needs to be as healthy as possible. So I cut off my hair probably about shoulder length and started going blonde. That's how I started. So you always have to compromise kind of one thing. If your hair is dark and you want to go blonde, you have to compromise shine or health or length or color and just stay a darker color. So I knew that I wanted to go blonde, so what I gave up was length. So I cut it shorter, and obviously after a while you start missing your long hair. So of course there's extensions, and I did that for a while, especially when you're in that in-between kind of random phase where it doesn't look great and it doesn't really look like a cut. So the first step was every time it came time for me to get a haircut, I still would. Don't ever give up a haircut when you're trying to let your hair grow out. I promise you your hair will look more lustrous and shiny and great. And I swear that if you take off just even, quarter inch or maybe even an eighth of an inch, but you need that. And I noticed that even if I took off like an eighth of an inch, I felt like in a week it was back to that same length. I mean, I know that sounds crazy, but hair after it's been cut, there's like a drastic growth like right after that. So I didn't feel like I was losing length, and I just felt like I was improving my hair. So don't ever give up on that haircut. So I did that about every 6 to 8 weeks, and what I started doing is kind of just lighter on the root. So lighter on the root means not lighter in like a brighter color, just light, meaning I was using less bleach. So kind of giving the hair a little bit of a break. All I was doing to the rest of the hair was just toning it when I needed and using a toner shampoo. I wasn't ever adding bleach to my ends or to my hair other than my roots, just every once in a while. So I was getting my hair highlighted maybe only once every 2-3 months, and only doing a high lift or a color on the root, and that's all I was doing, and getting my haircuts, very slight trim haircuts every 6 to 8 weeks. And in between that, what I think is the biggest thing that you need to do is avoid heat. I think heat for the hair is really like the worst thing you can do for hair when you're trying to grow it out. Only because you keep frying the ends, because that's what gets kind of kinkier, that's what gets not as shiny, so that's where we concentrate most of our heat. If you think about it, we don't add a lot of heat to our root, and our root can take a lot more heat because it's healthy and shiny and it's the newest hair we have on our head. So what I started doing is shampooing at night and giving my hair a deep conditioning treatment almost every other night. And as soon as I got out of the shower, I used an elixir, and I know if you've watched my videos, you've seen me talk about this a lot, and I swear by this stuff because it actually heals the hair from the inside out. Obviously with continued use. You don't apply it once and your hair is miraculously saved. I wish that were true, but that's not. But using this every day, really, like, just even the second you put it on your hair, even when it's wet, you just feel that it's no longer tangly and just rough. Like it's nice, and I just lightly comb it through and I let it completely air dry. And that's what you need to do to wet hair when you're trying to grow it out. If you're trying to manipulate, if you're trying to blow it out, if you're even worse, like blowing it out and then flat ironing it while the hair is wet, that is the worst thing you can do. Doing the elixir, just completely letting it air dry, and in the next morning, there was a few, only if I had to do something super important or I felt like I needed to really look more presentable, I would use a flat iron. But I just embraced a natural texture, and all I used was a wand or a curling iron just to go over certain areas. Some ends were just kind of pointing out in a weird random direction, just to give it a little bit more texture, and so that it, you know, it looked like a style and it looked like I meant to add curl and wave to my hair. So that's all I did, kind of use the wand on my hair, and I did that for about 3 to 4 months, and I got maybe a good 3 inches of growth, which is a lot for blonde hair. So I finally got to the point where I didn't need to wear extensions, and that was great. And I was just, when you get to that point, then hair just starts to just be healthy and just strong. Like, you feel that it actually from the inside is strong, and when that happens, blonde just looks so much greater. And so then I went back to maybe highlighting a little more often, only because I felt my hair could take it then, but still being cautious, obviously, to not go too overboard and not damage the length that I did have at that point. Another thing that I like to do in the shower is I use this Redken Smooth Down, and it's the butter treat, and this is super intense moisture. It literally feels like butter, and I was using this almost every day. I mean, it's very intense, but I just wanted, I mean, even some days it was like, oh my gosh, my hair feels flat because there's so much moisture in this, but the hair needed that. So I did that, and then if you know, when your hair doesn't feel as long as you would like it, another thing that I like to do is make the hair look thick, because if the hair looks voluminous and thick, nobody's looking at you and thinking, oh look, her hair isn't long enough, because it looks full. So I love this L'Oreal Densité, and it really does, it says it's for fine hair. I don't think I have fine hair at all, but when you bleach your hair tends to feel really fine and just kind of fragile. So I felt, because this adds kind of texture and just fullness to the hair when you are not doing a lot, like you're not flat ironing, you're not doing any of that to your hair, this just adds, like, you know, fullness and gives you that like kind of sexy Shakira full hair. So that was a lifesaver too. So I spray this on the hair wet, and it would air dry, and then in the morning, before I use the wand on it a little bit, I would just spray just a tiny bit more, and then use the wand and just kind of add random wavy pieces, and I'll show you a picture here of what that style looked like. So it's still really cute. I actually still do it now just for fun once in a while when I kind of don't want to add any heat to my hair, or if I don't have time. So yeah, so that's my tips and tricks for growing long, blonde, Rapunzel-like hair, which is, you know, probably one of the biggest struggles to do. I mean, growing out natural brown hair isn't as hard, but obviously if you're chemically treating your hair and heat treating your hair, it's the two major things that just break off the end. So your hair's still growing as always, but if your hair's growing and the ends are kind of breaking off, you're losing all that length anyway. So the point is to try not lose that length and maintain all the hair you do have at its best strength possible. Hope you try out these tricks and tips for your hair, and may you grow out gorgeous, long, beautiful, shiny hair. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. And don't forget to watch my new video every Monday.